It's so much fun to use all the power all the time. Just put your foot down. That's what you do.
Totally. It's a lot more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow.
Right, right.
You know, I think it's 118 horsepower or something
that's
like
what
that.
It is exactly, yeah.
It'll keep up with traffic.
Yeah, I like this thing. It drives nicely.
It feels like a Mercedes.
Yeah, it does. It does. There you go.
I love that. You hit a big bump like that, there's no rattle.
Yeah, no.
It's such a solid old car. I just love that part of it.
Even in fourth gear, it pulls away very nicely. Welcome to an episode of Jay Leno's Garage. The car we're featuring today, 1966 Mercedes 230. These are fabulous. There's none of them left. Most of them rusted out. You could buy these for a couple of $100 when I was a kid. I had a 59 220S that I loved, and this is the one that replaced that. It was more of a roundy kind of car. It looked like a 49 Plymouth, and this is what they call the Fintail. This was the car that was meant to compete with some of the big GM stuff. You know, my aunt was from Scotland, and she used to travel to Europe all the time, and she would rave about Mercedes, and they bought one. And my dad looked at it and goes, 6-cylinder, standard shift, got a roll-up window. What kind of car is this? I mean, when you could get a Ford with a 390 or a 428 for less money than this, it didn't make any sense. But they're wonderful driving cars. They handle, and they really were, well, they had safety equipment before just about anybody else. The Germans are very concerned about automobile safety, and my aunt would always say, oh, they're very safe in a crash, and my father would say, well, don't crash. Just don't crash. That's all you got to do. There's no problem. This belongs to our good friend and my fashion icon buddy, Randy Carlson. He's been here a couple of times. He had the twin engine. He's got great stuff, and he's got a terrific word. How do you say it?
Carchaeology.
Carchaeology. Check his website. He's got really unusual stuff. Randy, come on in, my friend. See, we have the same kind of look in fashion.
Yeah, there we go. We got a little plaid going on.
We're going out to dinner. What's the matter? This is fine. You know, yeah, it's fine. Now, interesting story on this. How'd you find it?
I got called in to appraise a collection of cars in Alabama.
Okay.
And the family of the owner had kind of called in as a little intervention. It was time for him to start selling cars because he had hoarded up a bunch of them.
Hoarding or collecting?
Well, I guess it comes down to what you do with your collection, right?
Well,
if you're really enjoying your collection, then it's a collection. If you stash it away and never look at it, it's a hoard.
See, I watch that TV show Hoarders and go, yeah, it's fine. You can still get to the bedroom. Look, just go around the magazines, and yeah, it seems fine. What's so bad? So I kind of, So was this kind of the pick of the litter? Was this the best one? Was it a driving car at the time, or was it parked in the back? What's the story?
Well, this guy lives out of state and stores these cars in an assortment of warehouses in Alabama, and this one was closest to the door.
Right.
So to me, it looked like it had the best chance of being something that would be a runner. And there was just something about it that attracted me to it. It's just the originality. I love the color. I've always wanted a good, like, 60s Mercedes. And I kind of used it as a litmus test to see if he was really ready to let something go. So a lot of guys hold cars really tight.
Right. And was he a Mercedes guy? Was it all Mercedes, or he had a little bit of everything?
Mostly German.
Right.
There were a lot of VW, which I do a lot of,
right.
And then a handful of Mercedes, and then a variety of other stuff.
Okay.
But the story was that he had bought it in New York City and drove it down to Alabama a few years ago. And so it was, and he said, oh, it runs great.
Right.
And so I figured, you know what, I'm going to try it out, see if he'll sell something. So I made him an offer on it, and he thought about it for a couple of weeks, and then he said, okay, I'll take your offer. And I think his family was kind of urging him to at least sell something out of it.
So, and did you ship it back, drive it back? What'd you do?
Well, when I was there standing there looking at it, and he said it ran good, I kind of had this urge to drive it home.
From Alabama?
From Alabama.
Right.
So, you know, I took his word on it that it was a good runner, and I got a one-way ticket out to Alabama. And
was it licensed on the road at the time?
No, he took the license plates off of it, and you know, I had the paperwork and stuff that I had purchased it.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, I threw these personalized plates on there that I had from another car.
Okay.
And just kind of went for it.
Right, right. All right, very good. And it ran fine?
Yes, it got me home, but it wasn't a totally smooth drive.
Really?
I mean, really, it wasn't ready for a trip like that.
Right. I mean, did you change the oil and tune it up, or just drive it?
No, I just kind of went for it. I mean, I took his word for it that he said, oh, it ran great from New York down to Alabama.
Yeah.
But, you know, I asked him if the heat worked, and he said, yeah, heat works. Heat didn't work. Neither did the speedometer or the gas gauge or the horn, and the shifter was bad, and the brake booster leaked. So there was a vacuum leak. Every time you hit the brakes, the engine would stumble. And so on and so forth. So it was really kind of an untested thing, but it was a fun challenge to get it home. And fortunately, I mean, these things are built like tanks.
How many days did it take you to get it home?
I think I did it in 3 days coming home.
Oh, that's not too bad.
So,
all right.
You know, I motored along through it and dealt with it a bit. I tried to drive during daylight hours mostly.
And what is this, 2.3 liter?
Yes.
Need premium fuel, or does it run on regular fuel?
I run premium in it.
Okay.
It'll probably run on less, but I feel like I'm treating it nice.
It's funny now, these 14-inch wheels look so tiny, but this came with 13s, didn't it?
Yeah, originally this had 13-inch wheels with the little dog dish style hubcaps and then a trim ring. But an upgrade is to go with the 14s.
Right, so you put these on.
These were on it when I got it. I put the white walls on it because I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. But it had these wheels.
Kind of putting on airs.
That's it. Well, it's a Mercedes. It's a fancy automobile.
Well, it is. You know, I love the thick leather of these early ones. And this is leather, isn't it? No.
Yeah. I think it's vinyl, actually.
This is vinyl on this one.
Yeah.
Think these were replaced?
No, I believe the interior, I think the whole thing is original.
Because they used to have something called MB Text when I worked for Mercedes-Benz.
And I think that's that textured material that's there in the seating surface. That's
right,
that
the
MB
230.
Text.
And wasn't there a 300 model of this? And that had the sunroof and really, I mean, had chairs, almost like a living room chair.
Yeah.
And that was the big high-end one. I think it had electric windows too.
This was kind of middle of the road, I think, for Mercedes.
Right.
Although this is the short wheelbase model that you normally see with a 4-cylinder in it or the diesel.
Right.
But they shoved the 6-cylinder in this.
Okay.
And then still with just the single round headlights rather than the stacked headlights in the S model.
You just don't see these anymore. I don't know whether all those cars from the 60s just rusted out or whatever happened, but I always thought they were attractive and just so different. You know, I kind of like that era because you could tell a French car, you knew nothing about a car, this looks French for some reason. This looks German, this looks a Tornado, all can only be American.
Yeah.
You know, now you look at cars and they're world cars and they fit every market, but in the old days it would sort of reflect the feel or attitude of the country, you know. These make it big strong thing, you know, bulletproof, can go forever. And you could run 100 miles an hour on the Autobahn with this thing probably. Yeah. My aunt once told me that my uncle once had it to 80 miles an hour, and she's frightened to death, you know. 8-track player, that's factory.
Yeah, or I don't know if that's actually factory, it's a US branded one, so maybe that was added at dealer level or something like that. But
oh, very cool. And this is the original paint, right?
Yeah, original paint, original interior. The car spent most of its life in New York City.
Let's open the hood and see. In New York City?
In New York City.
I'm surprised it's as good as it is. You think you just get beat up on the streets in New York.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there she is. Boy, a big old thing that is. Look at the lump. And look at the size of that battery.
Yeah, the battery is insane.
Yeah.
It had a much smaller battery in it, and it looked lost in that holder, so I wanted to get the right one, size-wise. And now I've gone through the brakes, a new brake booster, so that's working a lot better. The carburetors got cleaned out, valves got adjusted. They were horribly out of whack. It sounded like marbles in a tin can driving it back.
It's so easy to work. Distributors right here, carburetor right there. If you can get gas and spark, boom, you got a running car, you know. That's what I love about these things.
And that was really the attraction. I had a newer Mercedes that I was enjoying driving, but when something went wrong with it, I couldn't fix it.
Yeah.
And this, at one point on the trip, started running really, really bad. And so I found an auto parts store, and I parked out front, and I started just sleuthing it out, trying to figure it out.
Right.
And the rear carburetor, the idle jet was clogged up. And, you know, with some basic hand tools, got it open, cleared out the jet, put
Yeah.
it back in there, and then it ran fantastic
Well, that's
the
very
rest of the way.
I mean, I always like cars. I used to pride myself on always being able to get it home and then fix it when I get home. And sometimes you like that better than something that runs all the time, because now you bonded with the car. It was wounded, you repaired it, now it loves you. Yeah, like it's stupid.
I really kind of secretly wanted problems like that to happen along the way so that it would be an adventure.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
to
it was
hop
fun.
in an untested car and drive it 2,000 miles across the U.S. is a little sketchy. But
Mercedes had dual braking even back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was not, like, by 66, I guess it was mandatory in America. I think 66 is the first year.
actually, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Are these new or are these original?
Those are original. They just cleaned them.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying to find the brake booster was difficult, but I found a guy down in San Diego that could rebuild it. You know, little shop in the corner of some place, and he knocked it out same day, which was shocking.
Yeah.
So still some things to chase on it. It's not perfect.
Right.
You know, when we go for a drive, you'll see that the shifter is still a little funky, and
Yeah.
the clutch pedal is hanging up a little bit now and then. I mean, I'm still in the process of working through it. but-
Hydraulic clutch?
yes.
Yeah. So, that would be this here. Yeah, okay.
So we replaced the slave cylinder and the hose there, but I think the master cylinder probably needs to be done as well. So,
Yeah.
So that's on the list.
You
But
can still get those at the Classic Center.
yeah, although I'm finding that there's a lot of differences, like between chassis numbers, like there were progressive refinements
Right.
that went along. So trying to find the right one. You know, the hose for the clutch line there, we went through like 3 or 4 different ones of those to find the right one.
Did you get the heater to work?
No, heater
No.
doesn't work.
Still doesn't work.
That's still on the list.
Well, it'll be summer soon. So.
Well, this is true. It was cold this morning, though, I'll tell you that.
It's that Mercedes clunk is right there. Let's take a look at the trunk. So I remember these things had pretty big trunks.
It's huge. I mean, you could really put the whole
Oh
world
boy,
in
you really
there.
can. That's like an American car. Look at that.
And it goes way, way back there.
And a proper tire. Thank you.
Absolutely. Even has the jacking instructions there, the jack, and all of that stuff was there. And,
Yeah,
and I just love the originality of that.
Why they did it with the spare tire, I don't quite get. That kind of ready wit they give you to fix it doesn't
Right.
work.
The doors, to me, just opening and closing the doors, it's just so sweet.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
And
Yeah.
you can just barely close it.
And how many miles on this thing?
You know, that I don't really know. The odometer doesn't work. The speedometer doesn't work. The guy that I got it from kind of erased any history that he had of it. He told me he bought it from an old German guy in New York City, but I've not been able to track down any service records or anything like that.
Now, did you check the cable? Is it?
The cable's fine into the transmission, so I'm thinking it's the gauge.
So it is the gauge. huh?
Probably the issue. So
I thought maybe it just pulls out and it's not. Did you check the back of the Speedo to see? If
no, I didn't get up in there to check that.
Yeah.
But I've got a buddy that's much more skilled at that stuff, and he's been
you had the
wrenching
big
through
pad here to catch you in a case of a crash. And,
it. Yeah, no airbag, but a head pad to bash your head into.
Right, yeah. Well, you were the airbag. That was the thing. Very nicely done. Well, can we take it for a ride?
Absolutely.
Oh, it brings back some memories.
Plenty of room. It definitely likes the choke to start.
That's the Mercedes I know. I mean, it's lusty.
It is.
It's got power.
Yeah, it does. Even with it running kind of ratty the way that it did on the drive back, you can feel it. It's got some pull, some
Yeah.
torque. It's kind of fun to drive, you know. And I like the column shift just because it's something different.
It is. And a 4-speed on the column.
4-speed on the column. in high school, I had an old Chevy truck with the 3 on the tree.
Yeah.
The 4-speed's kind of fun.
It's amazing that the windshield is not pitted at all.
The glass is all good. The interior is really in nice shape for being original stuff.
Yeah.
And it required some cleanup because it had been sitting for a while. And then if you add on the brake not working right on the drive back and all the other stuff, it was I had to wrestle it home, but it made it. And
it feels solid though.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Just that Mercedes quality comes through.
And that dark wood is unusual. It's so dark.
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody kind of shoe polished it or something.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that's
I always like these glove
original.
boxes the way they open.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's a solid piece of wood.
Yeah. There, the gas gauge is kind of working now.
Oh, look at that.
Just teasing you that there's some gas in it.
Turn signals work?
Yeah. Yeah, lights all function, so that was good.
You can just use your GPS on your phone, right, for the speedometer.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun to see the reaction from just general folks on the street. People like it. The color is attractive, and you just don't see anything like this driving down the road. So I've been pleased with the street corner reaction with it.
What's the newest car you have?
The newest car?
Yeah.
Well,
most modern car.
Most modern car would be my truck.
Oh, okay. What year is that?
It's a 2015.
Oh, okay.
It's a 10-year-old truck.
Yeah, it's 10 years old. Not lacking in power. It's not sluggish. It moves along quite well.
Well, and I think having the 6-cylinder engine in the short wheelbase sedan,
You got the big block. There we go.
Right. Yeah, it's like having a big block. Putting a big block in your Nova or something like that. I think it's 118 horsepower or something
that's
like
what
that.
It is exactly, yeah.
And with the dual carbs on it and stuff, it'll keep up with traffic.
Yeah, more than adequate.
And the road trip across America in it was really fun.
Yeah.
It was November, it's election time, everybody's fighting online and having just angry at each other, and to just get out on the open road and drive across our country in something interesting was really good for my head.
Did the radio work?
Well, the radio works, the antenna's got to be all the way up to get a signal from it, and then the 8-track,
Is that a German?
It's a German thing.
Kraftwerk
So
Autobahn.
Kraftwerk. It's even got a fin-tail Mercedes
that's funny. And
on the cover there.
Was it in the car when you got it?
No, that was an accessory I added.
Oh, I see. But the 8-track was.
But the 8-track works. I think I need to get in there and lubricate it a little bit. And it was good to just get out and drive in something old. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while.
Yeah.
Put a couple thousand miles on something and just be out there. And it was good.
How was mileage coming across the country?
Without a gas gauge
You don't know.
and an odometer, I don't know. I would run it for 150 miles, maybe 200 miles, and tank it up. So it's got a big tank in it.
Alternator or generator?
Alternator on this.
66, that was one of those years. Could be either. But still generator on some cars.
And then I took a lot of Route 66, stopped at some of the roadside attractions and things like that.
Most people don't even know what Route
some of that in
66 means anymore. It was like a big, when we were kids, it was a TV show.
Yeah.
Get your kicks on Route 66. Yeah.
No, there's not a whole lot of kicks left out there on Route 66.
No.
But there are some neat little outposts and such. When I ran out of gas just outside of Tucumcari, New Mexico, I had can of gas in the trunk, and so I put some in it.
It's now called Albuquerque, New America.
No. This is still New Mexico. They might change that now. But I pulled through that town to get some gas, and kind of went through the old downtown, which is almost ghost town like now. But it was spectacular. It was so cool. So cool to see it.
I like the big white wheel. That was always the...
Me too. The feel of that steering wheel is great.
Nobody else really did white wheels. You didn't see that. Well, I guess you thought it. American cars of the 50s. Yeah, Chrysler did it. That's
sure. Well, another German cars, VW, had white wheels up until 65, I guess it was, or 64, somewhere right in there. But I do have to say, driving a couple thousand miles in the thing, it was pretty comfy.
Yeah, it's a comfortable car. Nice car.
Just floats nice, hits the potholes fine. And it was a pleasant...
Did you sleep in the car or did you stay in motels?
I stayed in hotels. I didn't want to drive too late at night and risk getting stuck out at night and stuff. So when the sun went down, I'd pull into a hotel, and then I'd post up some photos or video that I'd kind of taken during the day.
Right.
And people followed along on the trip, and it ended up being something that was really fun to share with people. Because I think a lot of people dream of doing that, get into an old car and drive across the country. And
I mean, the handle's very nice. Imagine these are all the stock shocks. You haven't changed those, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's got some body roll. It's not a sports car, but I live out on some 2-lane twisties, and it's kind of fun to fling the old barge through it all.
Yeah. Pumping the clutch to get the fluid up.
There we go.
I mean, it feels like it's going...
Right. No,
like
I hear it. Squishy.
Yeah, it's pushing the fluid through it.
But isn't that a part of the fun of old cars? Is that quirky part of it that you just got to deal with?
Of course. But the engine feels very strong.
Definitely.
Runs nice and cool, 180 exactly.
Yeah, no, it did run nice all the way across. Coming up some of the passes and things, I went over there. I ended up taking some sort of mountain pass that was pretty steep, and it pulled right up it. It was confidence inspiring. But every morning I went out from the hotel and I thought, okay, is it going to start?
Right.
And it did. By the time I rolled in the driveway, we had bonded, and now we are one.
Nice turning radius, look at that. Very nice.
Not bad.
Yeah, I like this thing. It drives nicely.
It feels like a Mercedes.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, it's really a torquey motor. I mean, this could just as easily be a little, 265 cubic inch V8, I mean, it feels like it's got more than enough power.
It definitely pulls it along. I mean, it's not a super light car, I don't imagine. It's probably 3,600 pounds or 3,800 pounds. I don't know what this thing weighs.
I'm guessing maybe 32, maybe. Could be right. It's a big iron lump in it.
Yeah. It's a vintage machine you can drive and enjoy on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's not super valuable, but it makes a statement. It's, it's an approachable car. I've had a lot of people just approach me on it and go, wow, that is really cool.
And no pitting at all in the windshields. We didn't get much highway mileage. Was it in New York City?
It was in New York City. There's some stickers on the back window. There's one from like a neighborhood watch for a certain police precinct that's in Queens area. And so I don't think it saw a whole lot of highway miles.
Yeah.
And I think it's the original windshield. It's got the right marking on it.
Yeah. So what's next? You fix the speedometer, fix the Gas gauge.
I mean, I've got the laundry list of stuff to do. The
Yeah.
gas gauge, the speedometer, get the horn to work, figure out what's up with the clutch. I'd like to have a heater that functions,
Yeah.
you know, that sort of thing. Just continued cleanup and enjoy it.
Did you have a heat valve under the hood that you close in the winter? Maybe that's been closed. You ever checked that?
No, never checked it.
Yeah, that might be it.
I mean, I'm a California guy. I'm not used to needing a heater.
I know.
You know,
I think, did you grow up here?
yeah, I grew up in
that's
Southern
right.
California, so not having a heater here isn't a super big deal. Although it was 28 degrees when I left my house this morning, so that's cold. It's a car I just want to work on mechanically, get it so that it runs and drives reliably, everything works, and just run it.
With a manual gearbox, nobody will steal it.
This is true. They'll get in and think that's an automatic.
Yeah.
What's this extra pedal? And there's a lot of great, especially here in LA area, there's a bunch of great Mercedes groups that that get together and go on drives and do stuff, and you know, it's a pretty active club, and it'll be fun to show up in another Fintail that they haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And the color grabbed me. I've for some reason I've been gravitating towards green cars lately.
Yeah, it looks good. Dash is not all buckled, and this. I wonder if this has been refurnished. It looks like it might have been.
I don't think it has. I mean, I hit it with something to clean it up.
Right.
But it must have been garaged for its life, you know. And,
yeah, not sitting in the sun, that's for sure.
But you know, that's pretty typical with the East Coast cars. You still have soft and supple, you know, rubber and plastics and stuff. But I was super surprised that it was as solid as it was, especially being from New York.
So the first time you saw it, you didn't go down there to buy this. You were going looking at it.
Yeah, I went down to look at this guy's whole collection of stuff and to kind of appraise the cars that he had there and try to help him figure out the best way to start selling stuff. And out of all the cars that were there, this one personally it just sort of grabbed me. I found myself staring at it going, ooh, I like that one. So it was a good opportunity to kind of see if he was serious about clearing stuff out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I made him a reasonable offer and let him stew on it a little bit. The best part about bringing something old and kind of funky up to you is that you've driven everything old and funky for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I like, yeah.
And so any mechanical malady or something, you've already dealt with it. You know how to work through it. Where you throw just some average Joe in the car and you totally freak out.
Well, it's, I mean, old cars are easy to fix. You know, I like this era before power everything, because the steering is nicely weighted.
Yes.
You know, you get a bit of road feel. I think to a person who grew up with power steering, they would think this is terribly hard to drive, but it's not bad at all.
No, to me it doesn't. I don't, especially with that big wheel. You've got you've got something to pull on.
It could use an overdrive.
Yeah, no, that it could. If it had an overdrive or.
Because when this came out,
gear.
most people were driving at 55, 60 was the speed limit.
Yeah, some taller gear at the end there would be nice.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to pedal them. Okay, pull it up. Okay. See, when I pull it all the way up with my foot.
Right.
Okay, then you pump it and it gets a little pressure. But you feel it going around the piston.
Yeah, you kind of feel that squish.
Yeah.
And that's another fun thing about a good original kind of survivor car is every time you touch it, you make it a little better. You clean something, make it look a little nicer, preserve what's there. You fix a little thing, you go on to the next thing. It's not like a restoration where you blow something completely apart and you spend years trying to get it all together into something.
There you go.
I love that. You hit a big bump like that, there's no rattle.
Yeah,
There's it's such a solid old car. I just love that part of it. I'm used to old stuff that rattles and feels loose. This doesn't do that. The cars like this, the Mercedes of this era, and even before the earlier stuff as well, there's a solidity to Mercedes that you feel.
I like it when you talk to people. Go, we're in Europe, and in Germany, the Mercedes are taxis there. That's how rich they are. Like they don't think just make a cheaper model. It's
right.
Not the same Mercedes you get here.
The first Mercedes I bought was it was an E320, so similar to your AMG, but not the hot version one. And it just drove so nice, and it wasn't expensive. I paid like $4,000 for it or something. But I posted a picture that I took through the windshield once with the 3-pointed star there, and people said, "Oh, it must be nice." Yeah. It must be nice to have a $4,000 car, driving through LA. But there's a bit of status, I guess, to the star, regardless.
Is a $4,000 car the same as a $400? Like when I bought my 1959 220 traded in, I worked in Mercedes dealer. They used to run an ads with Mercedes-Benz on this track, and the car would be like a bank like this, So we went over there to drive the Nürburgring and everything. And I was doing something with one of the car magazines. I said, well, let's go to Mercedes-Benz, the Classic Center. Okay. So good day, and we turn around. And I noticed I'm on that track. Remember, it was always a black and white photo?
Yeah.
And the Mercedes would be like this?
Oh, I remember that ad, yeah.
And it's only like a mile and a half. It's a small track at the factory. And I thought, because I'd seen that ad since I was 9 or 10, Klaus von Hugel, somebody, driving on this Mercedes truck. I saw the gull wing on it. I saw the fin tails on them. The 6.3 was in the ad.
They even have one with a big Mercedes bus, I think, on that thing.
But I thought, what a cool track I thought that was.
Oh, totally.
Even in fourth gear, it pulls away very nicely. It's so much fun to use all the power all the time on this. Just put your foot down. That's what you do.
Totally. Yeah. And that's the fun of the comparison of this between that modern AMG.
Right.
It's a lot more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow.
Right. Well, Randy, thank you very much. We always enjoy your unique look at old cars, and I like the stuff that you picked, the twin-engine Honda. And what else did we have? What were the other ones?
Well, the other one was the push me, pull you Honda.
Oh, yeah, right. That was fun, too.
So I'm stepping up. I've come off the Hondas to an old Mercedes now.
That's great. I know you do Volkswagens. And go to his, what is it, Carchaeology? Carchaeology.
So you can
Carchaeology. Watch his web. He's got really, if you love interesting, affordable, fun stuff, it's a great website. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, Jay, very much.
I like it because we have the same taste in clothes. We'll see you guys next week.